Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join me. I really do appreciate that. It's really my pleasure, seriously, to be here, to entertain y'all. That's what I mean by that, just to be clear. But seriously, tonight I want to talk about the different kinds of reactions people have in public and the way I think they should not carry themselves. And so, different reactions in public. What am I talking about? So, if you don't already know, my name's Albert. This is my show. If you've landed here because you're one of like the 600 people or so who, yay, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like, that's cool. On the most recent YouTube short video from last night, I've arrived on this page, then like, welcome, you know what I mean? Um, YouTube does a good job of, especially when you pay its algorithm to help you out, through the Google content creator tools and stuff to help you. But nonetheless, however you found yourself here, I want to talk about. Oh yeah, so my content comes like it's all organic and I improv everything, but all of my content is sourced from just like what happens to me every single day, and there's a lot of anecdotal kinds of things mixed in with a whole bunch of nothing as I talk about nothing, in the most clear kind of a way that I can. So that all being said, it's interesting to note that I go to the post office a lot, okay? Because if you didn't already know, yeah, I sell things on eBay. It's one of the very few ways I'm able to make a few dollars so that I'm not completely hopeless as it concerns the feeling that I have personally and its translation on over to being productive and being able to generate monopoly money from nothing. I mean, the money might not be worth anything, but you still got to do creative things to get fake money. I mean, fiat currency. It's the same thing. Anyways, I think that I spend and have, I think the last, let's say to be safe, it's been about 13 years that I've sold things online. For sure, for sure. 13 years. Like, a lot. At some point in each and every part of those years, I've had some kind of eBay store open or something. And in that time, I've spent a lot of time at the post office. More time than I'd like to think about, honestly. I mean, we're talking, you can imagine if you're a reseller online for the better part of 1 decade, almost the middle of going on to two, um, a lot of that time is going to be spent at the post office because that's how it works. You, as a reseller online, that's the one thing you can't do is take the product yourself on over to some rando in West Virginia. You know what I mean? Like, and that's been interesting. So the post office has proven to be one of the highlights in my life. So like, to all you alphas and Z's out there, you think going to the Waffle House at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday is worth your while? Why don't you try going into a post office? At any time, basically. Kind of like the MVD or the DMV or the DVM or whatever they call it in your local state. It's just one of those places that is just a really, really, really terrible place to be. And it's never because of the workers or the staff or the idea that you're in a place where lots of things get done and it's a pretty important place. I mean, the post office is a pretty important place, MVD is pretty important, kind of the two things that are most important and what you need to get by in your everyday or whatever. But as I think about those particular things, I think to myself that when the post office has some stuff going down, it's got it going down. So, like, for example, today the post office didn't open when it normally is supposed to open. It's supposed to open at 10 o'clock. And it was like going around 10:30 and it still wasn't open. And I go there enough. And I've prefaced and I've used these long, boring anecdotes to let y'all know because of this very reason. I kind of know the staff at many post offices. It's actually kind of funny. I've always gone to the same post offices. and kind of like my dentist and or barber or a stylist, I don't really like going to too many different places. I feel bad. I feel like a cheater. Anyways, like, so most of the post offices, the employees stay there for a very long time. So without question, I'm telling y'all right now that if I went down to my local post office in Tempe on rural where I used to live, with my parents behind the golf course, that the same woman behind the counter would recognize me just as much as I had gone in there yesterday, because I went in there every single day for a year. You know what I mean? So at some point, these people even become your friends. At any point, I'm standing outside the post office and I'm thinking, okay, like something happened. I know these people that work here, these ladies, I'm like, all right, something either they'll be open or whatever. As I'm waiting for this to happen, there's this boomer, this baby boomer, this really, really bright-eyed, white-haired, Gandalf, funky, funny-looking, neat-looking baby boomer. And he's got the whole cosplay. He's doing the whole bit. He's a cyclist because we live near some fancy people that own horses and bicycles. These are the kinds of people that do dual modes of transportation throughout their day. The early morning time, you might catch them on a bicycle. Later on in the evening, they're hopping on that horse. What an interesting life. Anyways, to all my people out in Corrales, shout out to you guys. You are, in fact, one of the most annoying groups of people that have ever been a part of the local area here. So, thank you for being so pompous. I don't know. They're just so fancy. I'm not a fancy guy. Anyways, this real fancy looking like funny boomer was real upset that the post office was closed. And so he made it a point to get off of his bicycle in his full cosplay cyclist gear, the kind of gear that no adult grown man should be out of the house allowed in, the real tight, not stretchy stuff that reveals way too much about any and every complete stranger you want to know that much about. Nothing. Anyways, and so the guy gets off the bicycle. Bad setup, I know. Holy potatoes. It's not a script. I make these things up. But the guy's standing there in front of the door, and he's kicking it. And he's cursing the federal government, and he's making it clear that our tax dollars are at work, and that the taxpayer, this is what we have to deal with. And many things are going through my mind. The biggest of which is obviously that the post office is no longer funded by your tax dollars, or our tax dollars, rather. It's just simply not. I mean, give the post office a break. Before, it was funded by taxpayer dollars until about 20 years ago we decided to essentially defund the post office, which is interesting because it is, has, and will always be the only profitable part of any government, whether that's socialism, capitalism, fascism, whatever it is, everyone gets mail. And the government will always have better access and tools to their using than any Google Maps beta program. Like, these guys have known where we've lived since addresses were a thing. Like, the United States Census knows more about a lot of things than I dare say they let go of into the public. I mean, they worked hard for all of that aggregate data, and trust me, it's not like today's age where, I mean, I'm just saying, and honestly, oh yeah, so the guy was getting all weird, and he was saying about the tax dollars, and he was like kicking the door, and so I'm thinking to myself, like, holy potatoes, like, why do old people in particular, they get some type of way, like, it's almost like they all got a little bit of Karen in them, you know what I mean? Like, it runs deep, it's a deep running thing, and I see it all the time, and I especially see it in my local community because I'm surrounded predominantly by older folks in the surrounding area, like that own houses and stuff, and that live in a different area of a different town called Corrales. It's like a little village or whatever. But it's a lot of older people, and most of the time they're very well to do. So like if you go into the Five Guys, it's not the Five Guys that's right in the middle of urban environment downtown on Mill Avenue, Tempe. One of my favorite Five Guys, by the way, to ever go to. If you guys have never been to Tempe or the Five Guys in Tempe on Mill, it's worth your time. That Five Guys is a vibe. And everybody who goes into shops off of Mill Avenue in downtown Tempe in the heart of ASU campus knows exactly what I'm talking about. My roommate and I like would go to Five Guys like in downtown Tempe, like, and you could go like see a movie at AMC. Like, what? Downtown Tempe is sick. And so I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thanks a lot for watching my videos. I do appreciate it. Again, if you didn't know, it's just we're at the end of the year and I got to make sure that I'm getting things done that need to get done, and making and creating and having 1,000 videos posted on this channel was one of them. And so it's like definitely a slow crawl, but we're getting there, and I feel like there will be every reason to celebrate so many different things at the beginning of next year as the clock turns midnight. And I'm so happy and I'm so looking forward to that day that I can't lose sight of what needs to happen. So I'm going to end this video. I hope that you guys have a really good night. Again, thank you so much for joining me on my journey. If you're not already a subscriber and you've made it this far, definitely drop a sub, you feel me? We've had so many new subscribers over the course of the last few weeks. It's been really cool. We've had so many different new viewers from shorts and on lots of different older videos that I'm now seeing a ton of traffic on. So this is present me telling future me as I view it in the future. Then it would be my past self that you're not doing too bad of a job. And if you're watching this video in the future, this is your past self saying to keep it up. You know what I mean? So maybe 6 people watch this video tonight, and maybe by 3 weeks from now 80 will have watched it. So that's just kind of the way that this has been going on these videos for this channel. And again, there are more than 700 of them, so check it out. There's something for everybody, seriously. I've worked real hard on making this catalog the way that it is, so use it up, you know? I appreciate your time, and I hope that you guys have a really good night, alright? Bye.